so effective and so encouraging. It makes you want to keep trying. And even if you don't do it very well at the beginning, that's all right. You'll get better.
Yeah, and because for students, they get to talk about things they're interested in. They they get to co-create stories or whatever it is, and they can see that they understand what they're listening to, and they start being able to communicate little by little. So it's game changing. Again, it was crazy.
It is. Yeah. And you experienced that yourself too.
Oh, absolutely. Like I've talked about it several times, but I don't know the way it looks in other countries, but in Spain, pretty much I studied English for 15 years throughout primary school, high school, and college. And I could pass pretty much any grammar exam, but I just couldn't speak the language. Simple as that. Like I couldn't. And I actually remember like trying to talk with Erasmus students, like exchange students in Spain who came from other countries. I couldn't, I wasn't able to just communicate. And I was passing exams, not with crazy grades, because I didn't like the process of memorizing and so on, but just good enough to get passing grades and so on. But I just couldn't speak the language. And then when I started, I wanted to ask you about, I'm going to talk about my experience. Like I'm just so passionate about languages that I stuck with it and I kept trying. But, the thing is, I think because of the traditional grammar approach that's so dominant all over the world, there's so many people who've given up on languages because of it.
Exactly.
It breaks my heart because, I wouldn't say I was close to it because, again, I'm just super passionate about it. It's something that I love, like learning new languages and getting to know about different cultures, traveling and all that. So I started with it, like I said, but it wasn't until 2016, like I said, I started reading Stephen Krashen's books and watching videos. And then when I went to the conference in France, that I realized, okay, wait a minute. So actually, what truly helped me learn English was watching the NBA. Because I was interested in the game, obviously. Right. And the one thing after those 15 years, I knew a little bit of the language, like just enough to understand what was going on. So it's not that it was completely useless, but, in 15 years, you would expect something more than that.
You would hope to be able to carry on a conversation.
Exactly. But it was enough for me to understand what was going on. And I just loved it, and I still love it so much, watching the NBA in English. I was getting tons and tons of comprehensible input, like so much time. And I realized a few years later that was the thing that actually helped me. And again, many times people learning another language or students, because they're getting traditional grammar classes, and at the same time they're watching series or they're listening to their favorite music artists. Because we adults believe most people believe the traditional grammar approach is the way to teach a second language. We give that the credit for our improvement, when actually what's helping you out is listening to your favorite music or reading comics or things that you're doing because you enjoy them. And that happen to be in your target language, so you're actually acquiring language that way. Yeah.
Right. And as Stephen Krashen has noted, you get so wrapped up in the message, you forget that it's in another language.
You do.
And that acquisition starts creeping into that brain. And all of a sudden it's like, well, where did I learn that? How do I know that?
Yeah. And it's like listening to languages that just I was going to say, like 6 months before, they were just pure noise to you. And then you start to sort of understand what's going on. Even if they're just cartoons or comic books, like simple things. It's an amazing feeling. And
yes.
Yeah.
And that's why you're doing what you're doing and I'm doing what I'm doing, is that we want more and more people to experience that joy
Exactly.
being able to understand and being able to communicate
Yeah.
in another language.
Yeah, and then you understand that input is the key to the entire process. So
Exactly.
you're not in a hurry to start communicating. Not because you don't want to, because your ultimate goal is to be able to communicate, right? But
Right.
because you understand that, yes, as it happens with kids and the native language, you just need more comprehensible input and more time,
Exactly.
and it's going to come to you naturally, right?
And I think the more of us who watch young children and their language emerging and how much they can comprehend long before they can speak.
Oh, yeah.
That is, there's so many similarities with the second language.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because I was thinking that when you started studying French, you said it was all grammar and you didn't enjoy it particularly, right?
Not much.
But were you so passionate about it, or did you love it so much that you just kept trying, or do you have any moments in which you were like, I'm just gonna give up?
I don't ever think I was ready to give up. Amazingly, because I just wanted to go to France and speak to people. And wanted to communicate, and I thought, I'll just keep trying. It must be me. Must be I'm just not good at languages, but I'm going to keep trying because that's what I want to do. There were times when I was teaching that I wanted to quit teaching because I did not feel effective, because I was still teaching history and geography and sociology, and I knew what I was doing there, and I was effective. And so, that I wanted to give up on, but I never wanted to give up on French. I still take French lessons. I do online French lessons throughout the fall.
Right.
With who Sabrina, who does a fabulous job.
I had her on the podcast, like 2 episodes ago. Yeah.
Yep. And so even now, after all of these years, it's been nearly 53 years ago that I started learning French, and I'm not finished yet. I still want to learn and get better at it.